What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. And this episode is how I became an automotive mechanic, automotive technician. And I don't know if you'd say a funny story or I just kind of fell into it. I didn't want to be an automotive technician. I never really put thought into it. Before we get into that, if you would go ahead and comment, like, subscribe, share the video so I can continue to bring you more footage of me at work and random things. So how did I get into it? Well, my family owned a diesel repair shop that was started by my grandfather out of the back of a van and a CB radio. He eventually worked his way up to open up a shop, and it used to be an old gas station, and the city wanted him to pay. The tanks were still on the ground. The city wanted him to pay to remove the tanks. Well, at the time, he was actually saving up money to build a bigger shop, which was actually right behind it. And it was like 5 bays in the front, and then on the back side you could drive a tractor trailer in long ways and still close the doors, and it was pretty fun. I kind of worked there in the summertime on the weekends, or while I was in school on the weekends. I would actually clean out the cab of the truck. I was making like $40 a day or something like that. And then I would learn, because it was family that worked there and some not family, I would learn how to do wheel bearings and brakes and stuff like that. And then got into the bigger stuff. But while I was in high school, I took Autotech 1 and Autotech 2 and just kind of fiddled with cars and trucks and stuff like that. I was always kind of curious of how things worked. It still amazes me that a bolt with threads can hold things together without blowing apart. That's pretty amazing. But what I really wanted to be was a X-ray technician at a hospital, because I like bones. I've broken many bones in my day, and I always thought it was cool how bones kind of fuse themselves together. And that's what I really wanted to do. But being young and dumb, and the girlfriend at the time, I didn't want to, I didn't want to go through college, and B, I didn't have the money to go through college, and I wasn't going to put that on my parents, have a lot of debt, and then come out making an okay job, still paying off student loans and stuff like that. You know, years go by. I get married to my wife now, and I was working like auto parts stores. I did graphic design for a while. Worked at a t-shirt shop. All this while playing in a metal band. And I was like, I need something better. And I was just kind of looking through Indeed.com, and I saw that the Ford dealership was hiring. So I applied, and I took the little assessment test, and then like 2 days later they called me. And so they sat me down in the office. So it was the service manager and the service operations manager, which is in charge of the whole service department. Some dealers may do it different. But they're like, shall we put him as a service advisor or shall we put him as a technician? And they ended up putting me as a technician, and I learned a lot. I started out in the quick lane, doing oil changes and tire rotations and brake jobs and stuff like that. And I told my boss that I wanted to be Ford certified. So he was like, well, do all your web courses and stuff like that. So I started doing my web courses, and next thing you know, they're putting me in the classroom, and I got Ford certifications. And you know, I eventually just moved up, obviously, from making $12 an hour, because I proved to them that I want to do it. I want to be able to do it. You know, and eventually I became a Ford Master Certified, and I'm not with Ford anymore, but I am with Nissan right now, because you know, I'd moved out of state and came back, and I was working at a Ford dealership there, and some things happened, and I ended up having to come back. I worked on police cars. I worked at Dodge for a little bit, the sister store of the Ford store that I worked for. Some of you know I was working at CarMax too, and that was just a joke in itself. And so Nissan kept calling me because I have experience. So I have no Nissan certifications at all. I'm actually doing the online courses right now to get some of their their little online certified stuff, and then they'll send me to school for that. And theirs is a little bit different. It's not near as many as it was for Ford, so I'm kind of whizzing through those. But yeah, I didn't never even thought about becoming a vehicle technician. Vehicles are very complex nowadays, and there's a lot of electronics, um, a lot of sensors. These sensors talk to each other and send information back and forth in milliseconds, thousands and thousands of times per second, and it's mind blowing, and it's constant training and stuff. But to me, it's kind of funny because I just kind of fell into it. Like I kind of had the background, but I didn't really necessarily think about doing that as a career. I really wanted to work with bones, like being an X-ray technician, being able to look at bones and see how they broke and stuff like that. And it's still in the back of my mind that that's what I want to do. But I'm almost 40 years old, and I don't think I can go through school for that, unless I just completely get out of the automotive field at some point and decide to go back and do that. But there's other things that I like besides automotive. I love motorcycles too. I did some motorcycle work, did some courses for that to get certified for motorcycles. But that's how I became an automotive technician. I didn't have the money to go to school to be an X-ray technician. I wasn't going to put that on my parents. My dad worked 26 years, retired military. He'd been through enough. I'm not going to put it on him to put me through college. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it myself. Say that I earned that. I didn't have my parents pay my way through it. But it ended up, I did take some college classes right out of high school, but I felt like I was doing the same thing over and over. Like I went out of high school into college, and it just felt like high school, but just like more leeway. I can do what I want when I wanted. And I got really bored with it. But just kind of doing that and then realizing, hey, working on these vehicles, it's really cool how they're designed. Yeah, technicians get mad at engineers, but there's a reason that they put the things in the places that they do. It may not make sense to us at all, but there's a reason that they do it. So it's kind of a love-hate situation between technicians and engineers. They're very smart people. They get paid way more money than I do. And so as I worked my way up, I realized, man, this is actually kind of fun. Yeah, there is times where it's not fun at all. There is times where it'll whip your butt. But working for a dealership is to me, is a lot better than some mom and pop shop. There's nothing wrong with working at a mom and pop shop, but they don't give you training like a manufacturer would. Their little 20-minute online course and, oh, you're certified. It doesn't work that way. But when you're manufacturer certified and they go in and they show you how it works, what happens if this fails, this is the software that we use, and there's always tech line support. So if you have a problem, like with Nissan where I work at now, I can go in and look for an issue, and I may not find it, but I can actually, instead of calling and trying to get tech support and give them the work order number and all that stuff, I can actually, there's like a chat that I can go into, and it puts me live with a Nissan engineer. It's a live real-time chat, and he can ask what kind of vehicle it is. I can give him the VIN number to make things a little bit easier. Tell him the symptoms that I'm having, and 9 times out of 10, within 5 minutes, he'll message me back, check this, and if this doesn't work, you're going to do this, and that's going to fix it. But in order to get to that, then I have to check this first. It's just kind of the process of elimination. That way you're not changing parts that don't need to be changed, or running around like a chicken with your head cut off, diagnosing something that's not even related to it or is not even causing the concern. And it's really cool how Nissan has that set up. But that's how I fell into being a technician. I needed something that was a little bit better pay than what I was doing. I think I was working at Advance too. I was working like 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 9, 10 o'clock at night and making like $7.50 an hour. And I cannot provide for me, my wife, and then my son was just born at the time. Can't live off of that. So, being the adult that I am, being the father that I am, I needed to provide for my family, and I needed to find something better. And at that time, I definitely couldn't afford to go to school. So I don't want to say used, but it's there. Hey, do your web courses and we'll send you to school. We'll pay you and we'll pay for you to go to school. So instead of me spending money to go to school to a manufacturer training, I got paid to go and they sent me. And I got the same training that somebody right out of high school that goes to Ford Accelerated Credit Training, FACT, or that goes to Nashville Auto Diesel Society, or goes down to any of like MMI, Motorcycle Institute, down in Daytona. But I thought it would better benefit me and my family if I got certified, so I can get a pay raise, I can get bigger jobs and get more money. But you got to be certified to do that. And if it's there for the dealership's disposal, like let's send our technicians to school. Even when you're master certified, there's updates that you got to do. There's updated classes. So I took advantage of that. They're offering it. Why not take advantage of it? So it was a smart move on my spot. So that's how I did it. Basically, I wanted to be an X-ray technician. I didn't have the money to go to school. I was just kind of like, what do I do? Typical young, dumb teenager, not really worried about the future in life. But that's how I became an automotive technician. And there is times where things whip my butt. There's times where I'm very, very busy, and I'll post it on the community. Sorry about the video. I didn't have time to do it. I'm working on 4 cars at one time. It's really hard to do things with one hand and hold a phone. But I really appreciate all you guys hanging out with me and sticking by me and supporting me in this journey that we're all doing together. So if there's any questions that you guys have about wanting to work at a dealership or working on vehicles, you got me, you got Ford Boss, you got Rain Man, Ray's Repairs, you got A-Rod. And so I know, just because I'm not at Ford anymore doesn't mean I don't know Ford. I may not know the newer stuff that they have out. And that's, if I get something like that, then, I'll call Ford Boss or whatever. And I'm still learning some of this Nissan stuff, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, that's it. That's how I became an automotive technician. And it's actually a really good field to be in. It's not going anywhere. Somebody's always going to need their vehicle worked on. The way things are getting more and more complicated to work on, that means it's more training that I got to go through. And little Joe Schmo over here can't do it in his backyard. So with that being said, I appreciate it. Again, I love you all. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing this video so other people can see it. It is worth it to get into the automotive, even if you're an apprentice and you work your way up. You can't just go in there and be top dog. It doesn't work that way. So I love you all, and I will see you on the next one, okay?